Um, okay, Starsky. Uh, if you don't have anything to add to this, maybe your horror story?
So the other day, a bunch of friends of mine, they're like, it's a big international community. They're mostly scientists, people working with science, um, people from like Germany, Brazil, Italy, decided to go to Eastern European restaurant and invite me. And because I respect them so much, I decided to go together with them. And of course, my first thought was like Eastern European restaurant, like, will it be a proper thing, like, Polish Ukrainian, or will it be like Ruski Parasha? And so, absolutely accidentally, I discovered like the biggest fucking concentration of Russians in my local
Shit.
region. It was like my suspicion raised when I opened their website and I found those dishes like shashlichok, щучка фаршированная and things like that.
Ugh.
And I was already like my suspicion raised above any limits. And then when I went there, so eventually, people that I used to shoot literally like those freaking Yakuts, Buryats, they were all fucking there, like Chechens, like. So I was like, like. And everything was more or less fine. I was like literally studying those fucking grumpy muzzles surrounding me. And by the way, I tried shashlik because shashlik, generally speaking, it's like not Russian shit. It's
Yeah.
like generally it's a Caucasian dish, right? But even though I think most probably because it was prepared there, I almost died from allergy. I shit you not. I like my gums almost exploded after that.
Ooh.
And I was like literally studying them, like all the stereotypes you know about Russians, like all those stereotypes,
Oh.
they were all there in concentrated form. And then they started like playing music.
Oh my God.
Was Kalinka Malinka in the
No,
list?
not Kalinka Malinka, but Griby. Even though Griby is basically like Ukrainian band, like from Kiev, but same shit. They sang in Russian, and
Russian culture.
Griby. Like there were some shitty Russian songs, like modern ones. I think there was even something army related. Not necessarily like glorifying like Russian invasion, but something army related, and I was like sitting there meditating, while sitting there I remembered all my courses in the police. In the police, we actually passed through psychological training because generally, when you work in the police, you encounter all sorts of people who hate you. They will call you pig. They will call you fascist. All that shit. Especially if you go to like Donbass. And we passed some very very specific training, and it was made in order to help us like control ourselves, not to get provoked, because if you get provoked easily, if you lose control, you're a bad policeman, generally speaking. And I was there, I'm like literally remembering all that shit, and I realized that literally between the muzzles we see, for example, like those captured Russian prisoners, and these individuals, there is zero difference at all. Like the culture, the behavior, everything is literally fucking the same. So I was more or less fine until I started playing music, and that's when I realized that I got it like GTFO from there very very quick. And my friends generally, like again, I respect them very much. They know that I'm from Ukraine, but like I'm not the one who will be like bragging like I fought 10 years and shit. So they probably don't know my story like on that level, that I was literally like shooting their relatives in Ukraine, like all those people. And they don't know much. So when they were asking like, you want to go dance? I'm like, no, not today. Thank you. Yeah. But after that, I felt like, guys, I have this bad dream. All right. I have a bad dream, seriously. And it's like recurring dream where I see myself in some freaking Rostovsky marshrutka wearing Ukrainian uniform. And I have like my patches all over me, like Ukrainian patches. And this marshrutka or bus in my dream, it's usually like a bus or like, or tiny marshrutka or a big bus full of Ruskies. And I realized that I will be fucked, and of course I cannot like remove my patches because it goes, it attracts attention, and I felt like that. Seriously, I was there, feeling like that, like fuck. So after that, I had to rehabilitate myself for 3 days straight with Ukrainian music. With Irina, with Kvitka Tsisik, with the Hard Kiss, things like that. I had to restore because I literally felt like I was a bit mentally fucked. Yeah, but then I just realized that probably we should talk a bit more about that because I think my biggest problem was that I didn't educate my friends well, and because like they come from different backgrounds. They are mostly like into science. They do all sorts of inventions and stuff like that. I think probably I should like do more work, proper install proper things in their minds. Yeah, so that was my story, and my friends. I never imagined myself in such place, but it was a good reminder why we as Ukrainians, as civilized people, why we don't like them. Because it was horrible, my friends. Like I went to take a leak in the toilet, and through the closed doors, I can hear them like talking, and it's 95% like curses, like like because this is the way they talk. They just freaking swear, and 5% some horrible shit. So it was my horror story for the night. I accept all propositions about my psychological rehabilitation because I will need it.
Oh, it's a horrible story.
Like seriously, Aziza, like imagine those fucking muzzles from like videos like guys from Azov make, like those freaking prisoners from like Yakutia, Chechnya, Ossetia. They're all there, and they're all fucking grumpy like shit, and like the way they behave, I literally I had flashbacks from like Moscow 2012 because I've been to Moscow in 2012 due to the job, and I felt like I traveled there. It was like probably the best training for my self control, but at the same time it was a bit traumatizing, I admit.
Oh my god, it's really like a horror dream, like what you can imagine the worst place, and
yeah, but then I realized that next time I will take them to Dortmund. In Dortmund, we have absolutely amazing restaurant called Babusa something. So it's like the best Ukrainian restaurant in like our whole location, and I checked it several times, and it's just so good. They have borscht, they have shashlik, of course, but like proper shashlik, borscht with pampushkas. They have Kyiv chicken cutlet, like huge one, and I will just take them there, de-brainwash them a bit, and make them realize what the true cuisine looks like.
Starsky, how did you meet those scientists?
It's a long story. It's like they're like local community, and
okay.
I know them for more than a year.
So
Yeah,
you met them there in Germany. So they don't.
yeah, we don't meet often, but like generally I respect them because like they're great guys.
Yeah.
And I just understand that I need to work more in that community as well.
Yeah, because maybe you kind of hang them to subscribe to your channel someday and listen to one of your streams, and they will.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
They will never bring you to a Russian restaurant again, ever again.
Yeah. Like if they knew my story, like my complete story, of course they would probably think twice before inviting me. But again, still fourth year of Russian invasion in Ukraine, and generally speaking, there's quite a lot of people around Europe who don't really understand like what is Russian culture, what is Eastern European culture, which is completely nothing in common with Russian culture, and specifically Russian cuisine.
Russian and cuisine sounds wrong together somehow, Paul Deverett says. You're totally right. You got them right. So it's a Russian restaurant in Germany. Yeah, Linda H., you won't believe us how many of them are there. Unfortunately, Russian so-called culture is, I think it flooded Germany.
I tell you this. So generally, a lot of places that were calling themselves Russian restaurants, especially in Germany, they renamed themselves after 2022. They renamed themselves into Eastern cuisine, Eastern European restaurants. And generally speaking, in many of those places, you can find, for example, Ukrainian flags hanging, which is proper thing, I think. Because if there's like this Russian fucking Aquafresh, that's that place deserves to be burnt and forgotten. But and they understand this. They hang Ukrainian flags, which is a proper thing because like if you position yourself as a Russian restaurant, please show that you don't support fucking terror Russia, that you don't support Russian terrorism. I accept this. So there's also a bunch of restaurants that actually turned from Russian restaurants all of a sudden to Ukrainian restaurants, because before 2022 they were calling themselves Russian restaurants because it was popular. Who knows about Ukraine and who knows about Russia? And they were mostly ran by Ukrainians. So when the invasion started, they realized like, fuck this shit, and they became all of a sudden Ukrainian restaurants. You see like Ukrainian flags and everything else. So again, it's a proper thing. And generally a lot of Germans and people from other countries, they go to those restaurants. So Russian restaurants are mostly visited by Russians themselves because for obvious reasons, because like Щучка фарширована, because of all that crap. And it was so interesting because one of the Russian fucks actually approached one of my friends, and he's like, "Why do you speak English?" And the dude explained that like we are like here, we're like Germans, Italians, people from Ghana, from different countries. And he's like, "Oh, it's very interesting because I didn't see much people speaking English in this place, and I realized that actually this is where they hang out for real." So it looks like this. And I remember I've been to several Ukrainian places here, and I can see a lot of different people because like Ukrainians, of course, they miss. I'm speaking about Ukrainian cuisine, and I start drooling. Because of course they miss things like borscht. If they don't cook it at home, they cook it, they buy it in a restaurant. Yeah, but Russians generally hang out in like Russian restaurants, and I bet that at least like, I don't know, there were like 100 people, at least like 15 of them work for FSB 100%. Like I guarantee.
Yeah, and he's not joking, guys. When he's saying this, the problem with Russia is like FSBs everywhere, and it's not exaggeration. They really have their agents among civilians always, like they snatch on each other all the time, and all that shit is unfortunately in Germany is pretty widespread. So Alex in Berlin says it's true. In Berlin is the same. So you have to look up info about the restaurant or business, and you can usually find out. Uh-huh. Pretending they took over East Europe and dodging accountability at the same time sounds very Russian. Yeah, I'm thinking like how they are appropriating the term Eastern cuisine, like they they captured all Eastern Europe. Um, yeah, in your dreams, fucking Russians, you will choke on that, and it will. Yeah, Aziza.
It's like Potap, our Potap. He began to make reels music and called this reels music like East European like content. So he could not use Russian, but he used Russian language and like call it like East Europe and make this like image like this stupid Russian, like who steal, who like stupid image and like East European image, such person with such accent, with this energy. It's really make me nervous. I don't want that Ukrainian will be part of this at all, of this anti-culture, anti-style, anti-brain. I don't know.
I have a good actually I have a good proposal, for those who want to do parodies for Russian style, or whatever they call it. Very good parodies, for example, for those who want to show how Russians behave. Make parodies about Russian troops raping toddlers in Bucha. Why not? It's so funny. It's so cool. Make Russian parodies about Russians, I don't know, shooting civilians in the basements, because this is what they do. Yeah, and shout Slava России. That's so fun and so cool.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, they on a YouTube, actually there's a lot of channels with those funny guys in shapkas ushankas, drinking vodka and doing different funny jokes about being Russian, stealing shit, drinking a lot. I don't see a lot of jokes about, I don't know, raping people, beheading people like Russians do, stealing toilets, stealing conditioners. Why they don't do that? Because that shit is real. Not Russian gopnik with 2 bottles of beer doesn't even look funny or realistic nowadays. Nowadays, the most realistic Russian gopnik is wearing fucking Zetka, the chevron, I don't know, decapitating somebody or being blown up into pieces by Ukrainian drone. That is life, and I think that they should think about doing that kind of content probably. But apparently they won't do that for obvious reasons.
Oof, talking about Russians and their so-called culture make me a bit disgusted. And I'm sitting here.
Yeah, same here.
And yeah, wanting to throw up is the first thing that comes to your gut.